Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to places. The two nations, divided by a common language, are often united by the names that dot their maps. In past videos, for example, I looked at 8 US cities that took English naming to the next level. You will watch that video immediately after this one. But what if I told you that it also happened in reverse, that despite the events of 1776, despite the Boston Tea Party, and despite the McRib, compatriots of mine still welcomed America into their hearts and their AA road maps? If you know where to look, there's a handful of cases up and down Britain of places that were named after American states and cities. Now, admittedly, when the US gained independence, the majority of towns and villages in modern-day Britain had long been cemented, unlike their houses. And for this reason, instances of Americanly named places are extremely rare in Britain, just like blizzards, hurricanes, and women named Gretchen. But often owing to certain colonists returning home from America, they do exist, and so without further malaboo, here are the British places that were named after American states and cities. California is known for its beachy coastlines, vacation hotspots, and irresistible food, but what most people don't know is that geographically, it's as east coast as they come. You look confused. Well, I'm referring to California, Norfolk. Its beachy coastline is a single beach, its vacation hotspot a caravan park, and its irresistible food is a hangout called Trisha's Chippy. But unlike Boston just up the coast, this is not a case of an English name influencing its eventually larger American equivalent. The holiday resort of California, Norfolk took its name in the late 1840s. 6,000 miles away, an event was unfolding that would dramatically alter the status and population of America's west coast: the California Gold Rush. At the very same time, somebody unearthed a collection of 16th century coins under the sands of that beach in Norfolk. What followed was an example of comedic exaggeration that not even the British are likely to repeat. The area was renamed California in light of the beach's own mini gold rush. It's often said that America's California boasts the 5th largest economy in the world. The one in Norfolk boasts a holiday park. What if I were to tell you it was possible to drive from New York to Washington in just half an hour? Well, if you live in the English county of Tyne and Wear, you could do it with 6 minutes to spare. New York, England is a bizarre instance of an English village being named after an American city that was itself named after an English duke. As the saying goes, New York, so good they named it thrice? Try 5 times, there's one in North Yorkshire and Lincolnshire too. After the British captured actual New York during the War of Independence, this hitherto unnamed village would thereafter pay homage to America's largest city. Oh, and that expedient drive to Washington? Tyne and Wear has one of those too. However, there is a twist. It dates back to the 11th century and bears only a loose connection to the American city, state, and president. A manor house there by the name of Washington Old Hall was the home of George Washington's ancestors, who shared their name with the town. Of course, Washington and New York have both served as America's capital. Who knew that Tyne and Wear dabbled in such a niche? Well, let's ask the residents of this. Philadelphia is just 13 miles south of New York. That's not my way of justifying Dennis Quaid's suspiciously fast hike between the two American cities in The Day After Tomorrow. The ones in question just happen to be villages in Tyne and Wear, and just as with New York, Philadelphia, England got its name after the British captured its American namesake in 1777. One curious piece of trivia is that the village is home to a cricket field named Bunker Hill. It's named, of course, for the famous 1775 battle in Massachusetts, in which the English claimed bloody victory over the colonies, the complete opposite of cricket in every way. Americans can take comfort in knowing that the Pennsylvanian city of Philadelphia was where the founders signed the Declaration of Independence from the British, and that it would later serve as a makeshift capital during the construction of Washington, D.C. Other historic capitals include Annapolis and Baltimore, residents of which might be interested in this. The US state of Maryland knows a thing or two about English naming. Its capital of Annapolis was named for Queen Anne, the monarch, not the cherry chocolates, while Maryland itself was named for the Queen Consort of England, Scotland and Ireland, Henrietta Maria. And so, as with New York, here's another example of where the British played ordnance phone tag with America. We'll give you this name so long as we can steal it back later on. At some point during the 1600s, a mysterious rich local merchant did precisely that. Returning to England from Maryland, he bought land and built property in a part of London's East End that he would proclaim Maryland in honour of the then American colony. The individual, whose identity has never been revealed, is widely believed to have been Richard Lee. Known to have fit the whereabouts and investment patterns of the merchant, Lee did own an estate on the Maryland side of the Potomac and is on record as having bought land and property in Stratford, the district in which Maryland, London, sits to this very day. Richard Lee was the great-great-great-grandfather of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, having been the first Lee in America. From his grave, he would also find time to become the great-grandfather of former President Zachary Taylor. Even in death, he remained connected, much like the train station at Maryland, London. That's it for this video. Keep watching until the end to click on 8 US cities that took English naming to the next level. And in the meantime, find out more British American facts by following me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. And a big thank you to my patrons whose support allows me to make videos like this. Become a patron today and support the channel at patreon.com/LostInThePond. This is the only way to gain access to my secret live stream. And we're live. Where's that alarm?
I'm getting it, don't worry.
Can we... Kafka? Kafka? Can you... He's not gonna... He doesn't know how to do that. He hasn't got opposable thumbs yet.